Have you ever sent a text and then stared at your screen, waiting, hoping, checking the time every few minutes, telling yourself maybe she's just busy, maybe she'll reply soon, maybe you didn't say the wrong thing, maybe, but the reply never comes. Or worse, she sends you a cold, dry, one-word response, "K," or "lol," or nothing at all. And suddenly, your stomach drops. Your mind starts spinning. You reread what you sent 10 times. You wonder, was I too direct? Was I too boring? Did I sound desperate? You try to convince yourself it doesn't matter. But it does. Because in that moment, you feel rejected and confused, like something invisible just shattered your confidence. But here's the brutal truth most men don't realize. It's not about what you said. It's about how you made her feel. And more importantly, it's about how you carry yourself, even through a screen, even through silence, even through one simple message. Stoic men don't chase attention. They don't over-explain. They don't beg for replies. They don't lose sleep over blue ticks. Because Stoic men know presence speaks louder than words. And confidence doesn't need to shout to be felt. The man who respects himself doesn't need to prove anything through text. He lets his calm energy speak for him. So if you're tired of being left on read, if you're done with trying to impress her with clever lines, and you're ready to become the kind of man she wants to reply to, not because of what you said, but because of who you are, then pay close attention. Because these 3 texting secrets I'm about to share, they don't just make her respond. They don't just get her attention. They make her respect you. They make her wonder about you, think about you, and most importantly, feel drawn to your energy without even knowing why. Let's begin. Secret 1. Say less, but say it with power. Most men believe that if they can just say the right thing, they'll get the response they want. They think if their text is kind enough, clever enough, long enough, then she'll feel something. But the truth is, it's not usually the words themselves that push her away. It's the energy behind those words. It's the intention. And women are incredibly sensitive to that. You might think your message is polite or sweet or thoughtful, but if it's wrapped in neediness, if it's soaked in a quiet sense of, "Please validate me," then she feels that before she even finishes reading it. Most men don't realize when they're doing this. They overtext. They overthink. They explain themselves before anything even happens. They use too many exclamation marks, too many question marks, too many check-ins. They don't know how to just say what they mean and let it sit. So they send things like, "Hey, I was just thinking about you again. I know you're probably busy, but I really hope everything's okay. I miss our conversations, and I'd really love to talk soon." It sounds kind, but to her, it feels heavy. Not because it's mean or aggressive, but because it's emotionally crowded. It's trying to pull her attention. It's trying to control the outcome. And whether she realizes it consciously or not, it drains attraction. Because that message doesn't come from strength. It comes from a man who wants something. It comes from a man who's not okay unless he gets a reply. It comes from a man who's hoping her words will calm his anxiety. And that's the exact moment he gives away his power. But a Stoic man does something different. He doesn't text from hunger. He texts from fullness. He doesn't fear silence. He doesn't rush to fill space. He lets his presence breathe. When a Stoic man sends a message, he does it with stillness in his chest. He's not hoping. He's not chasing. He's not pressing. He's just speaking gently, clearly, without pressure. His message might be something simple. "Hope today's treating you well. We'll talk later." Or, just checking in briefly, "Hope your day's going smooth." No fluff. No emotional overload. No need for a reply to feel okay. And that's what makes it powerful. Because it's not a request for attention. It's not an emotional performance. It's just presence delivered calmly. That kind of message might seem small, but it carries weight. Because it says something most men never say. I'm good with or without your reply. That's rare. And rare is attractive. Not because it plays games, but because it shows strength. It shows groundedness. It shows that you are already whole, and you're not reaching out to be completed. In a world where women are bombarded with messages that try too hard, with men who send walls of text, funny memes, and please notice me energy, a man who texts with quiet confidence stands out. When she reads your message and feels peace instead of pressure, she pauses. She senses something different. And even if she can't explain it, she feels drawn to it. Because calm men don't chase, they pull. Not with words, but with presence. Stillness doesn't mean silence. It means saying only what matters, from the right place, at the right moment, with no emotional debt attached to the outcome. That's what most men miss. They say more than they need to. They explain their emotions before she even asked. They send 3 messages in a row before she even responds to one. And that noise, it doesn't build connection. It destroys it. But the man who waits before he speaks, the man who doesn't force the moment, the man who can sit with himself and doesn't need constant response to feel worthy, that man becomes magnetic. He becomes rare, because his words aren't loud, but they land with force. So the next time you're about to text her, stop and ask yourself, am I doing this to share or to seek? Am I expressing something true or fishing for attention? If your message is built on anxiety, don't send it. If it's built on calm presence, let it land. And then, let go of the outcome. You don't need a reply to feel strong. You don't need a long message to say something real. Say less. Say it from your center. Say it like a man who already respects himself. Because when you text like that, you don't chase conversations. You become the kind of man people want to respond to without being asked. And if she doesn't reply, let her silence speak louder than any answer. Not because you're angry, but because you're grounded enough to let things be. No need to explain. No need to follow up. No need to convince her of your value. Real power is quiet. Real presence is steady. Real attraction never begs to be noticed. It just is. And when you live from that place, you stop needing attention. You become the attention. Secret 2. Don't text to impress, text to lead. Let's stop pretending that women are waiting to be impressed. They're not sitting by their phones hoping the next guy sends a perfectly timed joke, a clever pun, or a story about something wild that just happened. They've seen it all, heard it all, felt the weight of 100 men trying too hard to be unforgettable. Most men don't realize this, but women live in a world full of noise. Noise from attention seekers. Noise from men who mistake excitement for connection. Noise from texts that are loud on the outside, but hollow on the inside. So, they receive messages like, "You won't believe what just happened to me. Today was crazy, I'll tell you all about it. You free? Got something fun in mind, lol." And sure, maybe she responds. Maybe she sends a "ha-ha" or a "tell me." And for a second, you feel like you've got her attention. But what you've really done is started a performance. And here's the problem with performing. You have to keep performing to keep her interested. Because she's not connecting with your core. She's reacting to your act. And if the act ever slows down, so does her interest. Because what you're really saying when you do that is, Please like me, please see me, please choose me. And that's not leadership. That's insecurity wrapped in personality. Now think about the Stoic man. He's not louder. He's not funnier. He doesn't try to be clever or impressive. Because his value doesn't come from the show. It comes from his direction. He leads not with pressure, but with calm. Not with games, but with clarity. He texts like a man who knows where he's going, and he simply makes space for her to join him if she wants to. He might say something like, Friday, 7 p.m., new place just opened. I'll be there, come if you'd like. Simple, grounded. He doesn't explain. He doesn't sell it. He doesn't follow it up with, but only if you're free, no pressure lol. Because pressure isn't in the words. It's in the energy. When he sends the message, he doesn't sit around waiting for a reply. He puts the phone down and continues with his day. Because his world doesn't stop when someone doesn't text back. He's not looking for permission. He's offering an opportunity. That kind of energy? It's rare. And women feel it. They feel the difference between a man who wants them to lead the interaction versus a man who's already leading his life. She doesn't want another man who checks in 10 times before choosing a plan. She wants to feel the presence of a man who already knows what he's about and doesn't second-guess himself every time someone pauses before replying. Leadership, in its truest form, isn't controlling. It's steady. It's rooted. It's patient. And it doesn't shrink when it doesn't get its way. A woman feels safest when she's with someone who doesn't make her feel like the center of his emotional balance. She feels safe with a man who knows what he wants, says it with calm confidence, and is strong enough to walk alone if she chooses not to follow. That's what creates emotional gravity. Because when you text like a Stoic, you don't just invite her into a date, you invite her into a state, a feeling, a kind of masculine stillness that's missing in most men today. Your text becomes more than just a sentence. It becomes a quiet signal. This is the direction I'm moving in. You're welcome to walk beside me. And whether she does or doesn't, that's not where your worth lives. Your value was already there before the message, and it'll be there long after the reply or the silence. So stop chasing attention. Stop trying to be impressive. Stop thinking you need to earn your place by being the most exciting guy she's ever talked to. Because the man who tries to outshine everyone else, he burns out. But the man who knows who he is, where he's going, and why he's sending that message in the first place, that man becomes unforgettable. He doesn't speak loudly. He speaks clearly. He doesn't need constant validation, because he's already living in alignment with his own values. Text like that. Text from stillness. Text from purpose. And if she says yes, you move forward. And if she doesn't, you remain still. Because you're not texting for a reply. You're texting from a place of clarity, not a place of need. And in a world full of noise, that calm clarity is what women remember. Not the guy who danced. Not the guy who begged. Not the guy who needed her to say yes to feel like a man. They remember the one who didn't flinch. The one who led. The one who didn't try to impress because he had nothing to prove. Secret 3. Compliment her soul, not her face. Most men think compliments are the way to a woman's heart. And in a way they're right. But not the kind of compliments most men give. They say, "You're gorgeous. You have the most beautiful smile. Wow, your eyes are amazing." And maybe the first time she hears it, it feels nice. But by the 5th time, the 10th, the 100th, it becomes background noise. Because almost every man leads with her looks. They comment on her beauty like it's a magic trick she's never heard about before. But she has. Again and again. From strangers on the street, from boys online with hearts in their bios, From guys she's never met and will never meet. And while some part of her might still appreciate it, a bigger part of her begins to feel something else. Invisible. Not because no one sees her face, but because no one sees beyond it. So she learns to smile politely, to say thanks, to nod and move on, because she knows how this goes. She knows that the moment she isn't dressed up, the moment she doesn't post the perfect picture, the moment she shows her real self, the compliments stop. And that tells her everything. That's where the Stoic man steps in. Not loudly, not trying to impress, not trying to flatter. He shows up with something different. Presence. He watches. He listens. He notices things others miss. He sees how she pauses before she speaks, how she stays quiet when others argue. He sees the way she encourages her friends, the way she holds back tears but keeps showing up. He sees who she is when no one is watching, and when he speaks, his words are rooted in truth, not performance. He might say, "You're the kind of person who makes the room feel calmer without trying." Or, "You think before you speak, that's rare these days." Or maybe, "The way you handled that situation, most people would have snapped, but you didn't. That says a lot about you." These aren't empty compliments. They're not bait. They're reflections. They show that he's been paying attention not just to her appearance, but to her energy, her patterns, her values. And when a woman feels seen like that, something softens in her, not in a dramatic, romantic way, but in a human way, a real way. Her guard lowers. Not because she's trying to get something out of you, but because she feels safe. And that kind of safety, it's everything. Because most men only notice what's obvious. The dress, the hair, the smile. But the Stoic man, he sees what's beneath the surface. And that's why he stands out. When you compliment a woman's soul, you're not saying what she expects. You're saying what she forgot someone could even notice. And that reaches her in a way nothing else can. Not gifts, not looks, not pickup lines. Because the woman who feels seen feels loved without being touched. She feels valued without being praised. She feels wanted for who she is, not for how well she fits into someone's fantasy. That kind of connection, it can't be faked. And it doesn't fade. Looks will fade. Charm wears off. Attention drifts. But when you connect to someone's soul, that lasts. It lingers. It stays with her during quiet moments. It stays with her when she's alone, and suddenly remembers that one thing you said, the thing no one else noticed. That's what makes you unforgettable. Not because you made her laugh harder than anyone else. Not because you told her she was the most beautiful, but because you saw her when no one else did. So the next time you want to compliment her, pause. Don't go for the easy line. Don't say what everyone else says. Say what's true. Say what's rare. Say what reveals that you've been paying attention. Compliment the way she carries herself when she's hurt but still shows grace. Compliment the way she speaks when she's nervous but doesn't fold. Compliment the way her presence makes people feel safe to be themselves. And when you do it without need, without trying to get something back. Just say it, then let it land. Let it breathe. Let it be. Because the strongest kind of compliment is the one that doesn't seek reward. It simply reflects truth. It holds a mirror up to her spirit and says, "I see you, the real you." And that's what's beautiful. And when a woman feels that, she doesn't just notice you. She remembers you, not for a moment, but for a long, quiet time to come. Because in a world full of men who chase her beauty, you were the man who cherished her soul. Let me leave you with something most men never realize. Not until it's too late. Not until the silence becomes louder than the words they once sent. Texting, at its core, has never really been about the message. It has never been about perfectly chosen words, clever phrases, or the right timing. It has always been about energy. The energy behind your words is what she truly feels, even if she can't explain it. Even if you say all the right things on the surface, if your message carries tension, doubt, or desperation underneath, it will change how she reads it. It will change how she feels about it. And slowly, she'll start to pull away. You could text her the most poetic compliment, but if your heart is anxious when you send it, she'll feel the imbalance. You could say something calm and composed, but if you're secretly checking your phone every 30 seconds for her reply, you're not grounded. You're trying to fill a space within yourself, a space that only self-respect can truly fill. That's why so many men fail silently, because they confuse effort with attraction. They think doing more will get her to feel more. They keep talking, keep explaining, keep reaching. But a Stoic man knows that it's not about reaching. It's about standing, rooted, present, still. He doesn't send words for validation. He sends words because he means them. He doesn't perform. He expresses. He doesn't wait for her reply to feel whole. He already is. And this is what women feel. They feel when your words come from calm self-assurance. They feel when you're not trying to be liked, but simply revealing who you are without apology. They feel when your message isn't fishing for a reaction, but simply offering presence, no strings attached. Even through a screen, even with one sentence, they can feel the difference. So hold on to what you've learned. Say less, but say it with purpose. Every extra word that isn't grounded in clarity only weakens your message. And when your words are few but meaningful, your presence begins to echo in the silence that follows. Don't perform to gain her attention. Lead with direction. Not to control, not to dominate, but to offer clarity in a world full of confusion. Women don't crave another man who asks what she wants to do. They crave a man who knows where he's going and calmly invites her into his path. And when you do speak, don't compliment what's already obvious. Don't repeat what every other man has told her. Speak to her soul. Say what others miss. See her not as something pretty to win, but as a human being worthy of deep respect and still observation. Texting is not about making her feel something for you. It's about expressing what it already feels like to stand on your own. That's what real confidence is. Not loud, not needy, but steady and consistent. You are not here to chase replies. You are not here to build your worth through her response. You are here to be the kind of man whose message carries peace, whose silence carries strength, and whose presence stays long after the screen goes dark. And if she doesn't reply, don't panic. Don't double text. Don't spiral into overthinking. Just breathe. Let the silence serve you, not scare you. Let her absence reveal what needs to be seen. Because if she can't feel the value in your stillness, she's not meant to be near your fire. Don't lose yourself over who doesn't choose you. Choose yourself again and again, until the world begins to reflect that choice back to you. Because real men don't beg for attention. They don't shrink in silence. They don't try to be chosen. They become the kind of men worth choosing. So close the app. Stop checking the screen. Straighten your back. Lift your chin. And walk forward. Let your energy do what your words never could. Speak for you. Speak louder. Speak clearer. Because your calm is more powerful than your cleverness. And your stillness is more attractive than your desperation. You are not the noise. You are the presence beneath it. And when you learn to embody that, you'll never need to chase another reply again.